Hello there my friends, you're listening to Ebird Online, and I've got something a bit different for you. And I decided to make this video by popular demand. Now last time I spoke about this individual.
Is at all. I'm ready. I'm excited for the tell-all. The tell-all's not ready for me. The tell-all's not ready for Jibri. And all this energy. You feel me?
I took the decision to tell him about himself, and I haven't spoken about him since. He likes the sound of his own voice and the sight of his own reflection. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, today we're going to be talking about the clown that is Jibri. And guys, you may remember last time I spoke about Jibri, it was to give him a right old royal roasting. But I'm not going to do the same old thing again. Instead, I've decided to roast Sparkles. Yes, he's going to get it with both barrels. But just before I begin, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you've yet to do so. Thank you to everyone that subscribed in the last couple of weeks. It's very much appreciated. I had a few holidays booked for summer, so my videos have been very patchy, but I'm back now with a vengeance. So please don't forget to smash that big red button, mark subscribe, and make Ebird a very happy Ebird. And also, if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to smash that like button. Right, so without further ado, we're going to pick over Jibri's performance at the tell-all. Now guys, Jibri argued with absolutely everybody at this tell-all. He seemed to think he was arbiter-in-chief, the main man, the Don Corleone. But actually he was just a sequined sociopath called Sparkles. And guys, I don't know what your take on all of this is, but to me dealing with Jibri at the tell-all was literally like dealing with a toddler. He butted in, he interrupted, he stormed out and stormed back in again. He told everybody his every thought as soon as he thought it. He literally is a 2-year-old with ADHD who's just returned from a birthday party at Krispy Bloody Cream. He was actually bouncing off the walls. And one of the things that I did honestly find very amusing was the fact that Miona has obviously seen it all before. Because I'm telling you, she did not bat an eyelid. Even when he stormed out, she didn't even look after him. She sat next to him, virtually inert, and acted as if this behaviour was entirely normal, and I'm very scared because I think, for Jibri, it is. He clashed with absolutely everybody and everything, including his sequins. So Jibri and Miona walk into the tell-all, and she says, "Party's here!" And they really do think they're the shit, just before Jibri had told us. The tell-all's not ready for the energy of Jibri. Nobody's ready for me. Whatevs. And the couple sat down and started chatting to people. Jibri informed everybody that he was the best dressed at the tell-all. What? Jibri, you look like somebody's eaten the contents of Hobbycraft and then puked up all over you. You look ridiculous. Jibri tells everybody that he's living the dream. Jibri, you're living an achievable set of objectives. Very achievable. And we know that Jibri is sartorially challenged. But today's outfit is all the colours of the rainbow with fireworks and zigzags on. And the whole thing's made from sequins and, well, glitter. It really is hideous. And so we begin. Let's start analysing the ridiculous outpourings of Sparkles. So outpouring number 1 was a repetition of his earlier lie about having a fight with David, his bandmate. So guys, everyone in the green room was sitting round and he regaled the story again of how he and David had an argument which then led to a fight. Apparently, as the story goes, Sparkles got sparked out and ended up in a coma for 3 days. And very much like I did at the time, I call for evidence. Photos, please. No? Then I'm afraid I don't believe you. And the truth be told, guys, even if he did produce photos of him being in hospital, I still wouldn't believe him. He's probably just having his foot removed from his mouth. Ridiculous outpouring number 2 was on the tell-all stage. Sean decided to ask Sparkles why he'd argued with every single person here on planet Earth, and some of the aliens too. Just why is it that everybody has distanced themselves from Sparkles? Well, he had an explanation, all right. He really is such a clown. He said, worldwide, man for man, everybody is jealous of him. Jibri, literally nobody's jealous of you, nobody at all. What's there to be jealous of? This?
On tour with the band, and I had been single for 3 months. I was very adamant.
I really don't think so. He followed it up with saying, they're jealous because we look good together. We shine. When you shine, people want to dim your light. Oh, Jibri, people just want to knock your lights out. But then, for some inexplicable reason, Ariela decided to join the chat, and she spoke of Sparkle's issues with his mum. And she said, well, I think it's your fault, Jibri. Maybe you didn't give your mum enough attention. Jibri was beyond agitated. He said, are you calling my mum a jealous? I don't know why you're talking about people being jealous, because you're the most jealous person on the whole of the cast. And guys, they just start arguing back and forth. And Tim and Kenny back in the green room make a very good point. In fact, it was Tim. Tim said it's like when you go to prison, and as soon as you walk in, you go up to the biggest, hardest person and knock them out. Just so you can let people know you're about that life, and not to mess with you. And he thinks that's what Sparkles is doing. And I thought about this for a moment, but then I considered, but he's like this all the time, with everybody and anybody. It's not a warning shot, it's how he actually is. It's a modus operandi. The next outrageous moment from Jibri saw him swap seats with wife Miona, so he could berate Ariela from a closer vantage point. He really is audacious. But I have to say, when he turned his bedazzled carcass around, he did make some sense. Even though his delivery was absolutely awful, he told Ariela in no uncertain terms that she was not supportive of Biniyam in his dream to be an MMA champion. And he told her, you're holding him back. I have to say, this season, I've loved Binny. And I had previously thought he was a jack of all trades and master of none. But guys, did you see the MMA fight? Oh my god. He raced across the ring, leapt 5 or 6 feet into the air, and rather than just kick his opponent in his head, he kind of landed on his opponent and knocked him out within 33 seconds of the fight starting. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please be upstanding for Sir Biniyam of Addis Ababa. And so, in a deviation from the norm, Sparkles started speaking sense. You don't support your man, he could go all the way. He's an amazing fighter. He could be a champion. But then, of course, he snatches defeat from the jaws of victory when he says, when Binny starts getting $1 million a fight, do you know how many girls are going to be chasing him? Ariela, you're going to be losing your mind. And he seemed quite happy about it all. I mean, the truth be told, I think it's right she will be losing her mind. After all, she's got form. Remember when she tried to fight that MMA fighter? But then I guess Biniyam was only a pubic hair away from her. I gotta say, I wouldn't have been impressed. But Sparkles concluded with, you ain't gonna work out, there's absolutely no way. Ariela, you're too jealous. And guys, it did make me laugh. Kobe looked at Ariela and said, don't worry about it. Jibri's just being who Jibri is. Yes, you're right, Kobe, he is. He's being a see you next Tuesday. That's who he really is. Guess what else King Kobe said? This is just an aside, it's very little to do with the glitter in hand. But he said 90% of the world's problems aren't necessarily a difference of opinion, but a problem with the tone used. Kobe, preach! Honestly, I completely agree. Unfortunately for the Ebird, my tone's absolutely fucking despicable. Oh well, never mind. And the next ridiculous outpouring from Sparkles was when he put his glittered boot into the business of Yve and Mohamed. And I think I've said enough about that pair this week, but suffice to say, Sparkles has been to Egypt, and he informs Yve there aren't just people wandering around in bikinis. Yes, she knows. Incidentally, she doesn't just wander around in a bikini, she just has it on at the beach. But he said in no uncertain terms that Mohamed was well within his right to tell Yve what she should wear. And when I thought about this, I thought, yeah, that kind of makes sense because I've got a feeling that he dresses my owner. And he said he's learning and growing. Sparkles was right. He's learning how to cheat and he's growing into a massive, massive prick. And so the very next time Sparkles flapped his gums at this tell-all, it was at the spawn of Ozzy Osbourne. And I gotta tell you, for the first time, I wasn't mad at it. And so Guillermo and Cora had to sit there while Cora's ex-boyfriend told the cast, amongst other things, that they were in love and they were about to get married. They had sex anywhere and everywhere, and that Guillermo wasn't enough of a man for her. Now it does have to be said, he seems extremely keen to get back at Cora, because apparently she cheated on him and that's why the relationship finished. And as if that's not bad enough, she forgot all about it. She couldn't even remember why they'd finished. And the truth be told, I believe him and not Cora. And Cora's the kind of girl that you catch red-handed and she'd say, what? No, that's not my hand. And guys, I was looking at Jibri's face as this 1990s throwback spoke. and I just knew he was fixing to give him a tongue lashing. And so Jibri said to Cara, "You gotta leave Ozzy Osbourne in the past. You've got James Bond now, you've got an upgrade." And then he looked at Cara's ex and said, "Man, you're old news. You're still hurt. Get over it, start trusting women, you'll figure it out." And he was very flippant with the way he said it all, but also very cutting. And although I do understand why he was so upset with Cara, I did think he went really out of his way to try and ruin her relationship with Guillermo. And I think considering they dated 10 years ago, when they were just kids, it's a little bit rich. And so for the first time I think, well done Sparkles, well done. But guys, until now, everything's been entrees, hors d'oeuvres. We're ready for the main event. Sean decides to talk to Patrick and Thais, and after speaking to Thais' dad, we have a brand new guest. He's a full-time pisshead, a part-time prat. He has a species-wide reputation as that little wanker. He's missed all his milestones. And he possesses his own special brand of congenital idiocy. Yes, that's right, the one and only John. So John comes on and he's shooting the breeze. And I gotta say, he looks a little giddy, but I wouldn't really say that he looks drunk. And he's talking about becoming an uncle. And guys, he was really connecting with everybody on the stage, and he was being a bit of a witty raconteur, and everyone was laughing at his stories. And you could see Jibri did not like it. And straight away he piped up, "How many beers have you had this morning? You look drunk. You look like you've had a 12-pack. And so John shoots back with, "I don't know, but your sparkles are blinding me. I don't know if I can focus." And everybody started laughing. This only made Sparkles worse. And so then they show a few VTs of John trash-talking Thais, and also of John trying to organise 100 hookers for Patrick's bachelor party. And so he admitted that he did trash-talk her, but he did say he was sorry and he just wants Patrick to be happy. Sean asked John if Patrick's whipped, and he said yep, for sure. And for no reason whatsoever, yet again, Sparkles pipes up. And he said, well, he's going to be really happy. You'll never ever be happy. And then he said, you need to stop third wheeling, bro. You all up in their business. Jibri, what does it have to do with you? So John got him together real good. He said, you still living at home? Come on, get off the titty, get off the titty. Come on, bro. And guys, they went back and forth like two fourth graders. And then Jibri said, you're lonely at home, drinking 6 packs of beer and playing video games. Guys, I'm not saying that this is true or not. I actually don't care. What does it have to do with you, Jibri? These are two brothers. You don't get in between brothers. But I know really what it was. Jibri likes the spotlight. He thinks he shines naturally. He doesn't. He inserts himself in. That's why he wears those clothes. If he had any sort of natural magnetism, his words would be enough. His presence would be enough. But oh no, he needs these ridiculous clown clothes in order to stand out. But the moment John walked in and John managed to shine and make people laugh, you could tell Jibri did not like it at all. And so then Sean asked Thais if John gets into their business too much, and she answered yes. But then it does transpire that Patrick takes all of his problems to his older brother. And so I'm not really sure whose fault I actually think this is. But nevertheless, all of the time while this exchange was happening, Jibri was looking jubilant and smiling, saying, see. And then they go to have a short break. And it's in this break when Jibri genuinely shows his arse and we see him for the little pussy boy that he is. They all sit and chat to John again during the break. And Jibri sits there sulking with Miona. And then Sparkles decides to pull what I can only really describe as a dick move. I hate people that do this. He knows that his and Miona's story is yet to be told, and that he's integral to this tell-all. And so he decides, I'm not going back. If John's going, I want John out. And John said, oh, what's the matter, Sparkles? Can't you handle the heat? And Jibri said, no, if I have to sit with you, I'll knock you out. And so of course John said, no, that's not how the story ends. And the truth be told, my money would be on John. I think he'd fight dirty. He's probably got a beer bottle in his back pocket, ready to whack over Jibri's head. But this is when I really knew what it was about. John said, if you can give it, Sparkles, you've got to be able to take it. And he said, well, John, you give it and take it, but you're taking a lot of energy from the room and from the other people in the room, and I don't like to see it. Absolute horseshit. He brightened up quite a boring room, but Jibri, you're an energy vampire. He needs constant outward validation, and he's freaking exhausting. He didn't just see John dim his light, he saw John extinguish his light with one word, Sparkles. Everybody laughed. And John knew he had comedy gold there, and so he kept on saying it. And the more he said it, the more angry Jibri became. And Jibri finished off with saying, if you don't remove yourself, then I'll have to remove you. But guys, what was super annoying about this was that Jibri was threatening to knock him out and then saying, I'm going to remove you, and refusing to film with him. But unfortunately for production, they capitulated immediately and acquiesced to his ridiculous demands. So as a booby prize, John got to talk to Kenny and Tim, who were obviously just trying to placate him. And Jibri then sat in the studio and shit-talked John to his own brother Patrick. And guess what? Patrick said nothing. So Jibri repeatedly kept saying, I would have knocked his ass out. He would have been finished. He would have been floored. We saw your little scrap with your mate David, who incidentally doesn't look like he's about that life. And it seemed to me that he battered you. And let's not forget, many moons before, allegedly, he battered you and put you in a coma. So nobody's money's on you, Jibri. I think baby Avi could take you. But he was sounding off so much that Uncle Bilal had to come over. And doesn't Bilal think he looks like the elder statesman? And he rolled over and said, be careful, Jibri. Don't let anybody take you out of your character. Listen, Bilal, you dimwit, this is his character. He's a gobby little shitmouth. That's who he is. Listen to Kobe. He'll tell you. And Bilal strutted back to his seat, thinking job done. I'm such a good guy, everybody. I'm here helping the black youth stay on top of their feelings and not get into trouble. But all the while completely forgetting one person started this and one person's been hella aggressive the whole time. He would have been better telling him to stop embarrassing himself. But like they say, no good deed goes unpunished. And that's something that Bilal finds to his cost much later. But then Jibri started gibbering and it was a real load of rubbish. Sean asked him what happened with John and he said, I could see him bullying people and picking on them because they're different, and that takes me back to when I was younger and people did that to me and I'm not going to have it. And then in the very next breath, he called him trailer trash. What? Patrick still said nothing. My God, he's such a little pussy. And Cara actually had to jump to John's defence and say, Patrick, why do you let somebody call your brother trailer trash? Jibri jumped back in and said, well, he is trailer trash. He grew up in a trailer. Jibri? Does that make you trash? Wow. If that's the criteria we're using, then it would also mean that Patrick's trailer trash, because he too grew up in a trailer. There's two words in the phrase trailer trash, and I think you'll find it's the word trash that people are offended by. Guys, I tell you, Jibri really isn't the full ticket. And let's go back to this whole horse shit about picking on people. Who was he picking on? Nobody. Who did he bully? No one that I saw. Sparkles, I hereby accuse you of trying to dim John's light. That's exactly what you tried to do. So the final time when Jibri flapped his gums was during his own segment when his ex-bandmate David entered the tell-all stage. They started arguing about why he didn't invite him to the wedding. And it's probably because they were already married. And also whose fault it was the band broke up. I think you'll find that's the record-buying public. And those of us with ears. And then finally, why he doesn't like Miona. And as David was answering the questions, Jibri stood up and stormed out of the studio. There was nothing really explosive being said at the moment when he stormed out. And as Sparkles walked out, he said, you don't want to pick up a call, you don't want to talk to somebody, but then you want to try and play the nice guy when everyone's listening. That's some bullshit. So in other words, he's saying he stormed out because David was being duplicitous. But was that really a reason to storm out? No, of course it wasn't. He stormed out for one reason, and one reason only. He wanted to make a big exit. And honestly, I was hoping he'd bump into John out there. But alas. But then, like the little chump he is, Sparkles came trotting back 2 to 3 minutes later. But not before he'd had a whole monologue saying that David was just jealous of him. He sees what I'm doing and is jealous. He sees me with Miona and is jealous. And again, Jibri, I say, of what? Maybe he too wants your bedroom at your mum's house. So guys, that's pretty much it. There are a couple more bits and bobs that Jibri did. One of them is he fake cried when Ariela was telling Biniyam how much he meant to her. And in fact, because he thought the camera didn't see it the first time, he did it again. Oh Jibri, we see you. We see everything. You're so utterly pathetic. Honestly guys, I can't get my breath with this boy. But the other thing was his takedown of Bilal. Oh my God, This was like a juicy steak. No, this was like a surf and turf with potato dauphinoise. It was just chef's kiss. And Jibri decided to, I don't know, look at couples and point and say, you're going to last, you're not going to last, you're going to last, you will last, you won't last. And anyway, as it turned out, Bilal and Shaeeda were on the shit list. He said there's no way you two are going to work out. Bilal tried to give him a look of, he tried not to show any emotion at all, but everyone else was quite surprised. And I think inside, Bilal was very surprised. But that's why you don't lie down with dogs, Bilal. You come out with fleas. Jibri is loyal to nobody but himself. We've yet to see if he's going to be loyal to Miona. But it seems to me Jibri is all and only about Jibri. Another little tidbit that I observed was Jibri with a carrier bag, stealing snacks and goodies from the green room. Everybody else just packed their case and went home, but not Jibri. He stayed around and acted like a down and outer to Buffet. He really is genuinely so embarrassing. If I was Miona, I literally wouldn't have let him do it. Although, full disclosure, it's exactly the kind of thing that I would do, with the cameras not on me. So guys, what was your favourite incident of Jibri and his butting in? Do you think he added to the tell-all? Or do you think he made it worse? I think on reflection, it was probably a bit more exciting because Jibri was there. He did at some points hold people's feet to the fire and they needed it when they never ever get it from Sean. But at other times, he was incoherent and babbling, and I think for him, the main reason for him doing it was just to have all the attention on him. And I tell you what, he won the internet that day, that's no doubt. But let me know what you think in comments down below, and I'm going to get on with my next video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and all of that good stuff, and I'll see you soon. You've been listening to Ebird Online, and I bid you good day.